Welcome to Bears Country Podcast. It's a Wednesday. We're kind of in that middle period of that awful loss from the Commanders last week and moving forward into the Patriots game coming up this next Monday, kind of a mini bye week. I think we're all kind of happy about that. We can get our quarterback who is getting hammered like a nail out there a little bit of time to heal up. So we've got Lynn Hayden coming in here in a second because this show is The Lowdown with Lynn Hayden. So let's kick this off.
Bears Country. Where is it? It's in your man cave. Your home. Your car. Your local bar. Your city. State. It's across the world. It's in your heart. And it's here. The Bears Country Podcast.
Bears Country Podcast. What an awful loss to the Commanders. We have to kind of talk this out, get it out of our collective souls, if you will, and move on to this Patriots game. Hopefully the outcome is going to be better than that. Although, as Dan Aguirre pointed out, both on Monday on Bears Country Podcast on the Barroom Network and as well on Dan and Aldo last night, that the Bears have only beat the Patriots once since the Super Bowl. So, but we're going to get into that right now because this is The Lowdown with Lynn Hayden. Lynn Hayden, my friend, how are you doing today? Are you licking your wounds still? How are you feeling?
Dan, my man, yes, I am still very unhappy about that game. I've tried to put it out of my mind, but it was difficult, as we know. It was probably the hardest loss I think we've had this year. We've been in so many games, but this one was tough because they started to play. They came out. They were making passes. They were mixing up the pass, the run. I'm like, oh my God, they're being a real team, and then, but they get down. There's something about that. And that 20 yards of, before the end zone, they cannot score a damn touchdown.
That red zone is a problem, isn't it?
Thank you. Red zone. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm old. That red zone is a real problem. I don't get it. I mean, at one point I'm like, are they trying not to score? I know you want a good draft pick, but let's come on now.
It's just so frustrating. And I don't think that's what they're thinking about as the draft pick. I interviewed a Vikings podcaster right before the Vikings game, and he thought that his outside perspective was that this team doesn't believe in Justin Fields because they didn't draft him. And this is his outsider perspective. I'm sure there's a lot of outsiders that feel the same way, that this team isn't bought into Justin Fields because they inherited him. And I say that's bullshit.
Well,
there's still the talent there. So
yes.
I don't think they're tanking anything. There isn't even a quarterback better than Justin Fields in this draft. So there's no reason to even tank it anyways.
Well, I could see where he's saying it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but the same thing happened with Mitchell Trubisky.
Right.
Nagy and those guys. Oh man, I said his name.
Oh, you did say his name.
I'm not even going to get into that. I have zero thought.
It happened with him. He got him, and he didn't like him, and we saw
Right.
what happened there. I don't think this is the problem here because Coach Flus doesn't seem like that kind of a guy to me. He seems like, he's like, I ain't going to let that stop me. But I'm not sure it's Coach. Maybe he needs to step in. I don't know. Maybe the OC Luke doesn't get it. That's what I call him. Luke doesn't get it.
There's some plays there though. I don't think this is all on the offensive coordinator. Yeah, you're kind of freezing up there. You have to excuse Lynn. Her computer is kind of overheats, so we're trying to get this done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Dan will tell you my laptop. Next week we won't be having these problems. I am on a very old laptop and it's about to die, so we're changing that, people. So all right, well, let's get to it. But yeah, I don't know. You know what? He had some good plays. He seemed to be calm in the game, but he was, he was sacked 5 times. He was chased so many times. That offensive line, terrible. It just, I don't even know what to say. That's how
he was getting murdered out there.
He really was.
The 5 sacks almost seems like not enough. He was on his ass so much that game.
Yes. I was actually shocked when I read it was only 5. I thought it was a lot more. When I went back and looked, I was like, really? Are they sure? So I went around on the internet to make sure, because sometimes you don't always get the right information. And everyone said 5. I was like, sure seemed like more. But, but then again, Justin also holds on to the ball too long. They have got to work on that. And he holds on. I read about this. I looked this up because I heard it on the broadcast. He's the longest quarterback out of all 32 quarterbacks. He holds on it to the ball the longest. So he's obviously not trusting whatever himself, the receivers. I mean, as I've mentioned before, those receivers have got to learn to come back. When he starts scrambling, they got to turn around and come back to him and help him out. I watched some games last Sunday, and I saw the receivers doing that on other teams, and they would end up getting a first down because they came back to their quarterback. And they're not doing that.
Kurt Warner does a breakdown of the quarterbacks on his own YouTube channel, and he had some interesting things to say about Justin Fields. He does the good and the bad. And to your point, talking about holding on to the ball too long, here's a clip to kind of Kurt Warner kind of explains it for us.
Okay, so we already talked about one in route that he didn't pull the trigger. Okay, here, going to push up, run the in again, and then we're going to check and we're going to work here. So a similar concept to what we saw before with the big in, let it go, let it go, let it go. So these are the guys, especially that guy right there is who you should be reading. Coming back and realizing that I've got this in, and then I've got this shallow and this flat right here. So I'm reading that hook defender. He gets depth, we replace right underneath. He stays flat, gotta let this go. Gotta let this go, gotta pull the trigger again, and you see it. There's the huge window that we have for the in route. Got to be able to lay that up and over. Got to be able to anticipate and let that go. I got a nice pocket right there. I can step in. Ball should be gone right now to the end. Hesitates, and the hesitation, again, forces him to have to run and just barely get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
And that's it. You're seeing, it's almost like he's dropping back, and then he sees right now, like, fuck, I should have thrown it. And then
exactly. That's it. He's got to get rid of that ball, man. And he's leaving. They're there. It's there. And
the other thing that I've been noticing too is he doesn't take those opportunities because it's like he's not thinking about throwing the wide receiver open. You have to throw it to a spot for the receiver to get to.
Yes, exactly. There you go. And that's people don't realize that they're not throwing at the receiver. They're throwing low before the receiver is even ready for it. Good quarterbacks do that. They let it go and they trust their receiver. And I don't think he's got well, it's a little bit of his lack of confidence, and I'm not sure he trusts his receivers to be there.
I'm not sure he trusts his offensive line to give him the time either.
I don't think he trusts anybody right now, quite
there,
honestly.
there are times, though, that he does have the clean pocket. Here's another example by Kurt Warner here. Check this one out.
So we've got offensive line issue. Then we've got a nice play by Justin Fields. Now we come back hard play action. Hard play action. We get everybody to step up. Great. So it's basically a two-man route. We've got this over or cross route, and then we've got this in route off of it. Okay, so he comes back, two-man route, peeking at it. Okay, he doesn't like the cross. Now he gets back to the end. Huge window right here. Got to let it go. Okay, this is one of the issues with Justin is that he's looking at it. He's staring at the throw right here. Great pocket, staring at the throw. His guy's got leverage right here. Got a huge window. Throw the ball. Lay it out there. Got to take these shots. Can't hesitate. You got to pull the trigger. And I don't know why he's not pulling the trigger, but there it is. There it is. It's all you got, right? We have no other options on this particular play. We can't just live in the world that, it doesn't look 100% open. I'm going to pull it down and run every time. Can't live in that world. Too big of a window. Got to let this go and take this shot, and it leads to a big-time sack.
That's another occasion of if he just
and he had plenty of time. They weren't even near him. Maybe the problem is the OC or whoever. Do we have a quarterback coach? Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, his name is Andrew Janako.
Well, yeah. Andrew ain't doing a good job. I mean, that's what a quarterback coach. He should take them into films. They should sit there, and he should do exactly what Kurt Warner is talking about. Mm-hmm. Let it go, Justin.
And let it rip. Let it rip.
We've got to. This, we've already said this is going to be up and down season. I'd rather him at least throw the ball and whatever at this point rather than him running. He's not going to learn. He's got to learn how to throw that ball if he wants to be an NFL quarterback. Period.
And you could see at the end of the game there all the running he was doing. He was running all over the fucking place. I mean, what did you're getting exhausted. You have to drop back.
88 yards in rushing last week, and we don't want that. I mean, it's a bonus to have that, but we don't want that. We
led the team in rushing.
Yes, we want him. Yes, he did. We want him to be throwing the ball. That's what we got him for. Mm-hmm. Let Herbert and Montgomery, who are very good, between them, they had 142 yards last week. Mm-hmm. Let them run the ball, and you stand back there. So somebody is dropping the ball in the coaching, in my opinion. They're not giving this kid. They're not teaching them. They're not. They have got to. If they got to go back to, the basics, then frickin' do it.
Well, I think that I was just going to say, you kind of led right into what I was just going to say, which was. Is it possible that the mechanics that they have been working on all throughout training camp with his footwork and his throwing mechanics, trying to shorten up his release, is it possible he's thinking about that shit too much?
I think it is. I think he's thinking way too much. That's the problem. We knew that a couple weeks ago why he was hurrying because he was thinking and he was not nervous, but, just stressed out. Then he started to relax and we saw good play, right? And those flashes, we've seen it, but they got to go back. They got to go back to the basic and they got to go back to getting him to release that ball. He seems afraid to me. I mean, Kurt Warner, he couldn't have said it more simply.
You're right.
I mean, hire him if he.
Well, it's like the offensive line in the first couple of games the first few games has started to give him this happy feet,
Yes.
Train of thought where he's just, he's not confident enough in himself to be able to just rip that ball then go. Maybe if you look at the last play I showed you, I'll just kind of briefly show it again. I won't play the whole 1 minute of it, or I can fast forward through it. But if you look, maybe that right guard was in his way. Maybe the right guard was in his throwing lane, and he wasn't sure about being able to get the ball over his head. Let's take a look at that one again.
So we've got offensive line issue. Then we've got a nice play by Justin Fields. Now we come back hard play action. Hard play action. We get everybody to step up. Great. So it's basically a two-man route. We've got this over or cross route, and then we've got this in route off of it. Okay, so he comes back, two-man route, peeking at it. Okay, he doesn't like the cross. Now he gets back to the end.
Nope, I've seen it. I've seen enough. Right there, you can tell if he just threw the ball to throw him open.
The right guard was doing his job. The guy wasn't near him. So, he had a lot of time. There's no excuse for that one. And, so I don't know, just like the pass to the tight end 84, Griffin, where he was freaking wide open in the end zone. Oh my God. And, the announcer's like, oh, he should have caught it. Yeah, no. I mean, I've seen people make spectacular catches, but he did overthrow him. He shouldn't have put so much on that. And I don't know if he got giddy because he was so open.
That's what, when you have a play that's so easy. Remember the Pettis pass in the Niners game where he was just wide open? I remember I was at that game. I remember thinking, oh my God, he's so wide open. He's going to fuck this pass up because it's just like, it's too perfect, right? That's kind of what that play was. It was almost like
it was.
I'm not going to shit all over Justin for that because
no, I'm not.
I get that nerves. I'm not saying that you are, but I mean, like, I know that the rest of the world is.
Oh, they are. They really are.
It's sometimes just easier than it easier than it seems. And
well, of course it's easier to be sitting on your couch, to be, and drinking a beer, maybe smoking a little dope, sure, but and I get that, but. Those are the ones he's got to absolutely make. And now they're saying he's not a pocket passer. He's not that. So now all this stuff is up, which God hope he's not listening to any of it because it's like, shut up, everybody. But my concern is who's sitting down with him, looking at those films. Are they really teaching him what he needs to know? I mean, that's the bottom line. He needs somebody in there to really get in his head and show him, I mean, he's got the talent, but if this continues, I'm just afraid of what might happen to him. And
I know you're almost terrified of the next game about how many more times is he going to get pummeled into the turf because 5 sacks, yes, but
he was beat up. I mean,
that touchdown pass he threw to Pettis, he got hammered on.
Yes, he did, and he gets knocked down. He gets hit when he's running, so he's taking all those hits. That we don't want. Again, like I said, we didn't sign him to be a running back. We've got those. Right. And it's a perk that he can, but we don't want that. That's at the absolute last. You didn't see, although Carson Wentz was running a little bit. So, our defense in that game, though, I will give them props. I was really mad at the Bears, and I give this award out of my show, and I didn't give it to any of them because I was so damn mad at them. But our defense has been playing well, and that's the thing. It's like, Justin, your defense has got you in these games. You just got to put points on the board. I mean, it should have been 14-3 at halftime. We should have been winning 14-3. And then he would have come out. They would have come out. They went down and didn't score again. It would have been 21-3. You don't know what would have happened with that game, as we've talked about. People say, well, it was this net. Yeah, but when teams start scoring, they get that momentum, and then their defense gets jacked. You don't know.
Right.
And
it could have been a blowout.
It could have. And I'll tell you what, that was something we desperately need. We need that just for his confidence alone, because it's going to be a tough game on Monday night, and the thing is,
it's going to be a tough game.
I mean, we are dead last in pass. We were second in run, which is great, but we can't score. What are we, 31st in points scored? Come on. This is just terrible. And at one point, we were 0 for 5 in third down conversions in that game on Sunday. And that's another thing they have got to clean up. You have got to get those conversions. It's just you're not going to beat anybody if you don't. In my, I had my threes. I always do my threes, penalties, time of possession, and turnovers. And actually, we only had 4 penalties in that game, but the penalties we had were brutal. They were brutal. And my rule is 5 or less. I'm like, oh, great. They kept it to 4, but they were so costly. And, penalties. I was watching some games the rest of the weekend, and I would see these plays that were fantastic. I watched a game I don't know who it was. They got 3, I think it was the Rams game, 3 penalties, 3 touchdowns called back. I mean, penalties suck. And the Bears are much better without that last guy. I'm not going to say his name. They were terrible. This year they have gotten so much better, but when they get him, man, they just hurt.
Well, that's. I mean, for the team, that's. I mean, I think as fans, we can agree that cutting Amir Smith-Marset was a good, or as you say, Marsetti was a good idea.
Yeah. Marsetti
The
is
Italian guy, Amir
is the goner.
Smith-Marsetti.
Yeah, he's flying away. Thank
Get
God.
back out of here. Go back to the Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think there might be more changes. I wouldn't be surprised with, they looked at a lot of things in these days off, the coaches, which they should. I mean, there are bright spots. I mean, we've been pounding Justin, and yes, he is the biggest problem right now. I'm sorry, he is. And I don't mean that personally against him. It's just the play. I mean, our defense, we've got some stars that are starting, number 6, Gordon, number 9, Brisker. These two are stepping up and they're playing. And our running backs are running. We just need to score. So we don't have a great defensive line. We know that. I mean, you hear, I was like, did I hear that wrong? How many sacks Mac already has? 7, I think. What does Quinn have? 1? Yeah, Mac is like, he was flying all over the field the other night when I watched him. I'm like, boy, we sure could use you. I mean, so. Yeah,
I think he has 1 sack. Last week we had against the Commanders, we had 3 sacks.
Yeah, we had 3 sacks last week.
Al-Qadim, Jaquan. That was an awesome sack by Jaquan. And
exactly.
Roquan.
I mean, the Bears are not doing great with sacks. They have 11 sacks and they're 23rd in the league. So they got to get going, which is a problem because when we play New England, they have 17 sacks, their defense. So, and they have 6 interceptions and 6 fumble recoveries. So the Bears better look out. These guys can get turnovers. That is 12 turnovers there between interceptions and fumbles. We've got, I forget what the, oh no, wait a minute. Yes, no, I was wrong. That was, I'm bad. Is that the Bears? I'm trying to read. No, I was right about that. Yeah, that's New England. And they're going to come to play and their quarterback's been sacked between the 3 of them. See, we don't know who's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm looking at the injury report right now, and I don't even see.
Well, I don't think it's going to be Jones. No, it's going to be either
Zappy.
Yes, and then the other dude. What's the
I don't even know the third guy.
You do. God, I have his name right here. See, this is what happens when you get old and your brain is
I'm already.
I'll know. It'll come out of my mouth. Guarantee it.
I'm only about 14 years away from you, so I'm already. It's starting for me.
It's gonna be. I'm looking at some of the other stats now. They're not spectacular. They're 19th in passing, so they're not spectacular. They're 10th in rush. Points scored, they're 11th, and points allowed, they're 25th. So we're close, except for the pass. I mean, we are dead last in that, and almost dead last in points scored, which we know because the passing goes with the points. So it's in New England, and as you said, the other guy said we've only beaten them once since the Super Bowl. It's on Monday night, actually, and I forgot to write it down, but I did look it up. We have more wins than losses on Monday night, which I was really shocked to see that. It wasn't by much, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe we can turn it around. I don't know, but with Belichick, you never know what you're going to get. That's for sure. So, but
I'm looking this up as you're talking. Bears record on Monday night.
I mean, okay, so we've had a mini bye. They're rested. We're not too banged up, so we don't have to worry about that. So it's really the bottom line is Justin Fields, because if he can score points or get us where we can score some points, the defense is going to do their job, I believe, because I think they've been doing a pretty good job considering they've been on the field a lot. Except for last week. We actually won the time of possession, but we did nothing with it.
The defense is not the problem.
No.
And then you win the defense on like the Packers game, really.
Right.
We could easily be 5-1 right now.
I know. The defense has been doing it, and then the offense, another that Venus Jones. Let's talk about that fuck up on the
Phyllis
5-yard line.
No. Yeah.
I was
2
like,
games. He's cost us 2 games.
I know. He's got to be taking off punts. Okay, I hope they're making that decision too.
They did. They took him off the punt return. Yes.
Thank you, God.
Why aren't they playing that receiver more though?
I know. So yeah, exactly. Put him out there then. And it's like, but when he did that, I thought, oh, that was it. All the wind went right out of our sails.
Lynn, we talked about this last week. Remember I said, you ever get that feeling like when you're watching a game, you're like, the other team's about to throw it. The Bears are about to intercept the ball. Oh, they're about to fumble it. The Bears are about to recover a fumble. And you can almost like, sometimes I go, oh, fumble. And then the other team fumbles it. I'm like, yeah, we got it. Because I can just feel it coming.
I know.
I almost feel bad for this because I saw that fucking fumble coming from Velus Jones. I said to my wife, as it's in the air, I'm like, this kid better not fucking fumble the ball like he did in that other game. And he fumbles the ball.
Yes, twice. And both times cost the Bears because what was the score? It was what? I forget what the score. It doesn't matter, but they were they got 7 points. So it was 12-3 was the score. 6, right? What was the score that game?
It was
7.
12-7, yeah.
So we were in the game again. And so you can't these turnovers, and then we got no turnovers at all last week. Nothing. We were that wet dry. And so that did not help. So it's like, damn it, that guy, they gotta hang on to these balls. And I told you that this team, New England, causes turnovers 12. So they're gonna come punching. They see that the Bears are susceptible.
You could always count on the fucking Patriots to come in and just fuck up your season even worse,
Exactly, and it worries me, and that's one thing about Justin too is he's got to keep that ball close to his body. He tends to when he's running, he tends to run with it out here, and he is easily can get punched out. He has got to bring that in when he starts to run. I know that receivers, they tell them when they first catch it out here, so don't bring it in right away, so they don't
catch it with your hands, right.
So, but when you're running, that's different, man. You got to bring that ball in. You got to hug that like you're holding a baby. And, and he.
Well, Walter Payton remember how Walter Payton used to hold the ball? He used to hold the ball he'd run with one hand. Like
that guy. I mean, he was
special.
Fantastic. I was so blessed to watch him all the seasons he was with the Bears. That's one thing, that guy. And, the thing about too is Walter Payton, as I tell people, he didn't run out of bounds. He didn't, run out of bounds. He just kept going. He'd knock people over. And I mentioned this, I think, before about Walter Payton. In the 70s, late 70s, when he was on the Bears, the Bears didn't have a quarterbacks. So it was only Walter right, Walter left, Walter up the middle, and the teams knew it, and he still got the yards. So he was a beast. I mean, he just wasn't something special. Best.
I feel that specialness with Justin Fields. It just needs to
something needs to change. I hope you're right, Dan, because let's just hope that this week off, this long week, the coaches did what they want. And what they should be doing is really he needs to be in there more, a lot film time, and then go out and try to do it on the field. But I'd sit him down in front of that film longer than right now, than just throwing passes. He's got to see what he's doing. And like Kurt Warner said, release it. Oh, what are you?
Why don't we get off the Justin Fields bad?
Yeah, you're right.
And let's show one clip that Kurt Warner was saying that Justin Fields did well on. Let's check this one out.
Again, two-man route. Have a lot of success with this. They're good at running the football. Bring everybody down into the box to run the football, run your hard play actions. And look at this. Okay, so the last one, he didn't trust. Okay, whatever reason, I don't know why he didn't trust the last one. This one, look at this. Ball is coming out. He's already throwing this. Receiver down here hasn't even turned around and is running an out or a comeback over here. Hasn't even turned around. Justin stepping. He's driving. He's trusting. Boom. Like it. Ball's out. Great throw. Huge chunk play. See it, trust it, throw it, and he can make some big plays.
Yes. Yes.
A great example of throwing the guy open, right? But he still got fucking hammered.
Yeah, he did. See, that's
See him
the
on his
problem.
ass at the end of that play?
Yeah, yes. Well, that happened quite a few times after the plays. I didn't see too many flags coming in the Bears' ways either on those. Boy,
Mhm.
you touch that idiot in Green Bay, there's a flag flying right away. Even if you look at him cross-eyed, there's a flag, for Christ's sake.
Mhm.
So, Bears don't get
Let's-
the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. They just don't.
QB hits 12. The Washington defense had 12
Hits.
fucking QB hits and 5 sacks. That may as well be 17 sacks.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, because the kid was laying on the ground in pain after every one of them.
Yes. Yes.
So
I know. We're beating the dead horse. We keep saying this. We are.
True, yeah.
But it is. There isn't anything else to say. Everyone has said everything. Not everybody's right. We're right. You and me, Dan, of course. But
well, there's one more thing I want to talk about in this game before we move on to the Patriots that really pissed me off, and that is this play. Where is it? There's a lot going on here down here. Let's see. It is.
Would you like me to sing a song while you're doing that?
It's this one. This play.
Oh yes. Oh,
Let's look at the play here. See, you can't really tell from this angle how much pass interference there is on that play.
That should have been a flag. Are you kidding me?
But here you can look at his arm grabbing it and pulling it down there.
I know.
And this is a better angle right here.
It should have been a flag. We have been ripped off so many times this year when it comes to that.
Look right here. His arm is all over him right there.
I really believe that teams that aren't very good do not get the calls like teams that are good, and that's just not fair. But that's a fact. And
look how long it took Justin Fields just to get a freaking personal foul for sliding and getting hit, in the head, or running out of bounds and getting trashed out of bounds 3 yards by someone, and no call.
I know. That's what I mean. I do believe it, and it really does bother me. But I watch so much football, I see it, and that one was, come on, a fifth grader saw that as a pass interference. Come on, and I don't get it.
At the very least, it was like it was some kind of penalty. It wasn't maybe not a pass interference, but like
well, it couldn't even have been holding. It was clearly he had his arm wrapped around him.
Yeah.
There's nothing more obvious than that.
I forgot what the other penalty is. It's
well, there's holding, and then there's
what else? Oh, I can't think of it. But there's pass interference, and then there would be defensive
holding.
Damn it. Holding.
Yeah.
But there's a third one I can't think of. And at the very least, it was one of those three.
Yeah,
because
for sure. But in my opinion, that was definitely pass interference. And had we gotten that 1 yard lane, although that doesn't mean we would have scored, but we would have been on the 1 yard line. And that's the other thing. Why, when we were on the 1 yard line, was it 4th and 1? Was Herbert running in the ball and not Montgomery? Herbert I love him. He is fast, but Montgomery can knock guys over and get the yards.
Mhm.
And why didn't they use Montgomery on that one? I'm like, what?
Or at the very least, a quarterback sneak.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand that at all. I mean, I was watching a game, Monday night's game, and their quarterback was sneaking all night long and getting first downs.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, well, he could do that.
We saw Kirk Cousins get a quarterback sneak for a touchdown against the Bears.
Yes. So it's just I'm
maybe they're hamstrung by the Packers one that they tried that was actually a fucking touchdown.
Yeah, we know that, yeah. But I don't know. See, that's why I'm not digging Luke. Luke doesn't get it, as I call him, the OC, because I'm not digging his calls, and I don't think. I mean, he had some good ones last week, he was mixing it up for the first time this season. The pass and the run nicely in the middle of the game, but when he gets down to the red zone, I don't know. He doesn't get it. And it's like,
Yeah, there's been some questionable calls, like a shotgun on the goal line
well,
situation,
that should
and
never, ever, ever happen. And
yeah,
I mean, come on. And
yeah.
and then using Herbert over, I thought Montgomery would have had a much better chance. And what I see a lot of teams do, and I don't ever see the Bears do, is when they're down there and you got your running back, you've got other players and they get behind them and then they push them.
Yeah, right.
And the Bears never. You see guys. You should watch. I watch this late because I watch for just that reason. You see guys standing around, and
I have. I've seen it, and you see like other times where players like the guard will pull around and then get behind him, just push him right into the
I see
end zone or first down. Yeah. Oh, you froze up again. Blah 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 blah. We'll just blah 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 until you come back. There you go.
Yeah, but that's the truth. And I think if you get these guys, come on, man, this offensive line. Okay, we're on your ass about not being good pass protectors. Well, then do something else and use your body to help get those touchdowns.
I am really hoping that this offensive line gets figured out in this next game, meaning I hope they get Patrick back at center and they figure out something different for left guard, because Patrick has not been good at left guard, and center Mustafer has not been good at center.
I don't understand what's going on with Patrick. I think his hand's worse than they're saying, because he should be back and playing again. And well,
I had a friend that had surgery on her hand, and it took I haven't talked to her in a long time, but years later, her hand was still screwed up from the nerve damage.
Well, yeah,
so it could be something with that too. He could have like a numb hand or something.
If that's the case, then where he's in trouble and we're in trouble, because And Fields is the most sacked quarterback besides Wentz. Carson Wentz and Fields have 23 on them, and Stafford is 22. So the Rams,
they were like battling back and forth for the game, weren't they? Because at one point they were up and down, up and down.
There's teams out there that are hurting on offensive line, and it's like that is, I always said to my son, you want your boy to be a kicker because he doesn't get hurt and he can make good money, right? But hey, man, maybe he should be an offensive lineman because we don't got enough of them. I mean, so they got to.
But then you get your ankle destroyed like Kyle Long. You don't want that either.
Exactly. Now I'd rather.
Kicker's the best job.
They are, and I said that's what I want my grandson to be, as a kicker. So
you want to be. I know you said that to me in a text. I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah. I'm like, yep.
That's not the answer you normally hear. I want my grandson to grow up being an NFL kicker.
That's it. Why not? You're on an NFL team. If you're good, you're going to make good money.
You make $3 million. Even if you make $3 million a year, it's more than I make.
I know. Yeah, shit. I can tell that too. Yeah, for sure. Here.
Ask Robbie Gould what it's like to be an NFL kicker, right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I mean, we got ourselves a nice kicker. That is for sure. So that isn't it. And we know what the problems are. So New England, I don't know. It's going to be a tough one.
It is going to be a tough one. Let's transition into that right now, because
let's talk a little bit before my
here's what pisses me off. Yeah, here's what pisses me off. I'm not down on Justin Fields at all. I love the kid. I see everything. I know what he has. Right?
Yeah.
I see the skill set. I think it's going to take a little time. It's going to come together. I really truly believe that. But why? Why can't we just be the team that has Justin Fields blow the fuck up this year? Why can't he be the Patrick Mahomes of the league? And why can't he be the Lamar, Jackson of the league, or the insert here? Josh Allen took a couple of years to develop, but even Mac Jones has better stats than this kid I'm about to talk about. Zappy has better stats than Justin Fields does. Last week he threw for 300 and something yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
This is what scares me coming up into this game is now we have this rookie fucking no-name quarterback.
Yep.
And this is what happens to the Bears when they play these kinds of guys. They come in and they do this kind of shit to the Bears. And if we start to see this kind of shit happening all over the field on Monday night, it's going to be a fucking embarrassment.
Well, I will tell you one thing, though. And I did not write it down here. I have it from my show on Friday. But the Bears defense overall, I got to see if I can remember this, is 16th overall in the league. They're 29th on the run. But we are what did they say? Shucks, it was like something like third. I want to say third for the pass. Believe it or not, I know I was shocked. I was like, what? We know we can't stop the run. So that didn't surprise me. I want to say they were third. But when you think about it, we only gave Wentz 99 yards last
Right.
week. We even
We haven't given up a 300-yard passer yet.
no, what's his name in Green Bay didn't even do that, and he usually does that with the Bears. So
Yeah, he had like 246 yards or something.
yeah, the backfield with those two rookies and everybody else young back there. We've only got Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson, who thank God was back last week, in there that have experience. So we got to give those guys credit back there because they have not been giving up a lot. They make mistakes here and there, but they seem to learn from them, and they're doing good. I think, as I said earlier, 6 and 9 are going to be are going to be a future with the Bears. I really believe. And once you get a good backfield, work on that line, we're golden. We could be back like the good old days, the Bears.
Yeah, and it just might be that this offensive line just needs to gel throughout this season, and then they come back better next year. Then you get like I've said, they need a big pig on that defensive line.
We do. We need that.
Stuffer,
I don't know how many draft picks they have yet, but we know we have a number one. But they're going to get what they can in the draft, and they're going to have to spend some money in the free agent market. There's no doubt about it. They have to. And if it's, go to the Big Ten, watch the Big Ten, man. They got bruisers for offensive linemen. And you hear the Big Ten, how they always announce on the big games where colleges, the offensive linemen, a lot of them are from the Big Ten. And we need that. So draft wise, you get a good offensive lineman there, and then you can work on a defensive line for the draft. And but we need a wide receiver, so. The backfield, there's certain things we're good at, so we're not going to have to worry next year. Where it's gotten smaller on what we need.
Yeah, everyone's claiming, everyone's looking to 2023. I personally was looking to this year because I thought,
I didn't think so.
I thought an easier schedule, a new coaching staff with a new offense, and I kind of was trying to attribute it to the 2018 season, only not.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Not a faux season. Like I thought that they would kind of come out, maybe even possibly win a division. Here we see Green Bay at 3-3.
Oh, I love it.
If we would have just beat the Vikings, we could be right there with the Vikings for the top of the division.
I know.
We could have beat, also the Commanders. It's just these heartbreaking losses. And
that's the thing about that loss is we should have won that game. And as we talked
about
and
a win's a win.
Yeah, we should have beaten New York. Look at New York; they're 5-1.
I know.
5-1, and people before the season started were like ripping on Daniel Jones, kind of like they do with Fields, but ripping on him. But that coach, he has got them playing, and that
he's getting something out of that team.
He applied for the Bears job too, and then he went to New York. But so I'm not.
He's working well with Daniel Jones's weaknesses.
Oh, he isn't. That's the thing, though, is we've got a defensive head. Our head coach was a defensive guy. So that is my biggest concern is, so the defense is playing well. It shows, head coach. But he's got to have a good offensive coordinator he can rely on because that's not his forte. And it worries me. I just want to make sure they don't screw with Justin's head. And we get through this. It's growing pains. We know it. We've been saying it. But I just don't want him to be.
Don't give him those happy feet to where you turn him into a David Carr.
Yes.
The first pick in the draft who was sacked 35 times a year and
exactly.
Never amounted to shit because of it.
No, now he's a commentator for the NFL channel.
We cannot have that happen. No. They have got to protect this kid, man, and the kid has got to get the timing down in the passing game.
Yep.
And like Kurt said, rip that ball, rip it right now.
So
that's
see.
Your window. And you see him go. And then he pulls it in. That was the time to throw the ball.
That's right. So let's see if this longer week, what we see. That'll be interesting. Regardless.
More practice time.
Yeah, more practice time to see. And I know the coach said he was going to leave him out there on the field longer in practice this week. They were going longer. He's like, we're going to be doing longer practices, which is fine by me because I don't think they practice enough in this new era of.
No, they definitely do not.
No. They don't. And you can see it in the first couple games of each season because they're not practicing very hard in camp. So you're right. We'll see. Even if he makes a mistake or two in here, I just want to see him get rid of that ball in time. And then we'll go from there. I'd rather worry about the problems afterwards. Let's just get the receivers and get that ball to them. And then we'll go from there. So
I really, truly feel that's going to happen. It's going to start to happen.
I thought it looked like it was going to happen last week when they came out, and it really
started moving the ball, and then
like,
they can't score.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is what we've been asking for, and then boop. So let's see what happens on Monday night. It's always tough to be on Monday night. They're going to be making fun of us. Thank God it's not Chris Collinsworth, though.
He loves to take those moments to dig at us, doesn't he?
Oh, he sure does. So now we've got Buck and Aikman. And Aikman, he's okay. He doesn't rip on it. He just points out the obvious,
right?
Which we all know. So I know you're going to say, Lynn, what do you think the score is? I'm not even going to predict, Dan. You're going to have to do that this week. I am not even going there. Because I'm going to predict the Bears to lose.
All I can think of when I think of the Patriots is this shit. A fucking rookie quarterback.
I know.
Making these kinds of, look at him, just standing back there, just chucking the ball.
Look at the time he's got. He could play a poker game back there for Christ's sake.
He could knit a sweater.
I know, exactly. I mean,
look at that.
Like, God, if I only, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, God, if Justin just had a little more time, but he's got to work at it too. It's a two-way street, and sometimes the offensive line does hold up. It's just not consistent. We know that. And it's going to be like that all year. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll turn it around.
Even look at this pass though. When you replay it, the pocket, if he hung on to the ball a fraction of a second longer, he's sacked.
Right.
But
he gets rid of it. And
he got rid of the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified of that. He's a rookie.
Where did he come from? Do you know?
Oh, damn it.
It doesn't matter because I don't recognize his name.
He came from a small school. He's like a fourth-round draft pick, but that's what the fucking Patriots do,
Yeah, of course. And then they look at Brady. He was the 7th round? So
6th round, yeah.
6th round,
yeah.
Okay. So, so you just never know. Talent can be anywhere, So that's, you know what? I'm just going to say if Justin can figure it out, we have a shot. I think we have a shot. They're not the New England Patriots of past. They're not.
Right.
They're beatable. They're 3-3. They're beatable. So, and to beat them at home would be great because their fans.
God.
They're not used to that,
especially on Monday night.
Yes,
in prime time.
If we could win on Monday, I don't care if it's 1 point by 1 point. I don't care. But the boost that team would get, especially Justin, if he has a good game, this kid needs some confidence. Big time. So let's just hope that everybody got their rest and maybe we can come out. Because after that last game, I don't even know what the coach even said, what he could say to them after that game. You go into the locker room and what does he say? I mean, I would have lost my head. It would have been like spinning around like The Exorcist, for Christ's sake.
You would have had to have that, what's his name, that big time emotional speaker just waiting in the locker room when they come in. All right, everybody. Yeah. I know that you lost, but you only lost by 5.
You're right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, but only counts in horseshoes, honey, not in football.
Right. And you had a chance to win at the end of the game.
Right.
If it wasn't for a fumbled punt.
Well, yeah, that it. And then speaking of that last play when Mooney caught that ball, did you hear what he said? That they had the lights on because it was cloudy there. He kind of lost the ball in the lights. Otherwise, he said, I would have been over the line.
Right.
That's the season we're having right there.
I know.
I mean, it was right there. I said it to my son. That's it. That's the season. Just get used to it. Put the seatbelt on. This is what's happening. I mean,
it's so true.
It is. So that's what but we, as you and I both know, we just want to see improvement each week. I've said that from day one. If I see it each week, I am down with whatever happens, but we're not.
It's incremental, but I mean,
defensively we are seeing some things, and I pointed out. I'm going to point out these young guys that are doing stuff. We know where, and you hate to keep blaming Justin. You just hate it because it's just another to him, and he's just,
I know, and I don't want to sit here.
I don't either.
I'm sick of hearing the bashing of our
Oh, me
Chicago
too.
quarterbacks. I refuse to do it, and
I know.
I'm going to
I'm not
remain
into it.
positive until the end. I promise you.
Me too. Well,
Maybe I'll be wrong.
What does
but-
that tell you? I was a
Right.
Mitchell fan. I mean,
Yeah,
come
so
on.
was I.
I mean,
so
I
was
have his jersey.
even-
I was the only one. Well, you and me, see?
I
And
have his jersey.
yeah. So my son's like, I can't believe it. I'm like, you know what? Shut up.
I thought he would do better in Pittsburgh. I guess we got proven right, or proven wrong, I should say.
That guy got hurt. He came in, he drove him down, and they won that game.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And they
Yeah.
said he looked really good. So we'll see. Maybe he was listening to all that Kenny Pickett talk himself and letting it get in his head.
Right. Well, I'm not even gonna even bother giving you a score prediction for this game either.
I know.
I'm thinking somewhere like 23-19 Patriots or something like that. And I
And
don't want to sit here.
Maybe they'll win.
Yes, reverse psychology.
Exactly.
48 to zip
whatever.
Patriots.
Right. I mean, just I'm sometimes I'm such a fan. I'll be like, maybe I should change my jersey. Maybe I should put another jersey on. I always, because I have so many. I have 9 different jerseys, and
Yeah, there's losing at halftime. You take it off, put on a different one.
I do.
They win. You're like, I gotta wear this for the next game.
If my son isn't watching it with me for some reason we can't watch, I text him, and if he's at home, I'm like, "Do you have your jerseys on?" And he's like, I'm like, "You don't. It's your fault."
Oh, it's his fault, huh? Jesus.
Yeah, we'll blame Michael.
At least we have someone to blame.
Exactly. So, but we'll see, right? We'll see when we come back next week, and hopefully we're not going to be.
Hopefully, we'll be talking about a Bears win over the Patriots for the second time since the Super Bowl.
Right, and hopefully it will be like we don't have to dump on poor Justin. We can give him props next week.
No, I'd rather dump on offensive linemen than dump on Justin.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. So, and I'll have a better computer, and this crap won't happen anymore.
Sounds great. Well, Lynn, this has been a great show with you.
Always,
I'm sorry that we're 2-4,
I know.
but we're gonna get this figured out. I promise.
will.
And
People,
we're gonna get some more wins. We're not
That's
gonna lose the rest of them. There's gonna be some games that's gonna happen that we're gonna be like, wow, what the fuck? And
It's
hopefully
gonna
we
happen.
can finally
I
get
guarantee
300
it.
yards passing
Yep.
out of Justin, maybe 3 touchdowns. And
I do predict one thing real quick. I'll say this. I predict in December when we play Green Bay, we're gonna screw up their season.
ooh.
'Cause
It's here on
doesn't
it's
come
on
down to
it's on
Minnesota.
camera.
Yep. It's going to.
I'll take a clip of this for that game when they win.
Yes, you do. And then when it happens, we'll be like, so at least if that can happen, we can live with the rest of the season. If we could screw up Green Bay, rock on.
All right, well,
Yes.
I think that's a good wrap for this show. Lynn,
It
this
is.
has been another awesome show. Thank you so much.
Dan. Thank you.
You can follow Lynn on YouTube. She has her own channel, Lynn Hayden. Let's Talk Chicago Bears. She is awesome. I actually love. I was waiting for your podcast to drop after this loss. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I need to hear you. I need to hear either your positivity or I need to hear you get all pissed off and riled up. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I kept it pretty low key because I was so upset.
It's not like you're in front of the TV. You don't want to be screaming and yelling like.
Right.
All right. Well, and until next Wednesday for the
Yep.
lowdown with Lynn Hayden, Dan and Lynn Hayden.
Yep.
Thank you. We hope you guys like this content. If you do, please make sure you like and subscribe. Get over to Lynn's channel and subscribe to her channel too, because she has got some awesome stuff over there. And we love all you guys. Thank you so much. And until next week, ready? 1, 2, 3. Bears.
Bears.